Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed, lab-proven to work fast, and proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw.
And I'm Sean Liang.
And Sean.
Yes.
How is your sex life?
Oh. Jesus, Chris, when you asked me that the other night.
And you answered it seriously?
I was like, how to answer that.
I was like,
You know what? That's the problem with the whole movie, is that it wasn't as awkward as I felt at that moment.
Oh, dear God. So today we're going to be talking about The Room. The Tommy Wiseau directed, produced, written, and starred in film from 2003. If you have never seen the film, please do yourself a favor. We've said this before on multiple occasions that you should go back and watch the movie before you listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
This film practically requires that.
Oh, there's no way. Yeah, absolutely. This movie belongs in like a film class.
Yes. And we also spoke with Mladen Milicevic, who did the music for the film, the now iconic music. So we'll be playing that interview here in a little bit. But before we get to that, have you been watching anything other than The Room, Sean?
Oh, man, other than a bunch of like crappy Christmas movies. I haven't seen a whole bunch of new stuff, actually. It's not since Star Wars. How about you?
No.
No.
Not a thing.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I've just been watching like the Christmas reruns. I watched Gremlins Christmas Eve while I was baking.
Gremlins. I was baked while watching Gremlins.
Oh man, see, I mixed it up.
I was baking Gremlins.
Yeah, while you were baked.
Right.
I get it.
God. I haven't really watched anything.
It's been rough, man. It's hard to watch new stuff. It's like nothing's,
Yeah, it's the holidays, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the holidays holidays are rough.
They are. They're taxing for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this Kulturecast took quite a while to even get set
I
up.
know.
So, but if you don't have anything that you've been watching, I think we should just get right to it.
Let's do it.
So we're gonna be talking about The Room today. It's from 2003. As I previously mentioned, it's directed by, written by, and starred in and produced by Tommy Wiseau, the powerhouse of cinema. The IMDb synopsis for the film is: Johnny is a successful banker who lives happily in a San Francisco townhouse with his fiancée Lisa. One day, inexplicably, she gets bored of him and decides to seduce Johnny's best friend Mark. From there, nothing will be the same again.
A perfect world.
These are for you.
Thanks, honey. They're beautiful.
A perfect life.
I would do anything for my girl.
I love you, Lisa.
I love you, Johnny.
Surprise!
He provides for you. Darling, you can't support yourself.
I don't love him anymore. He didn't get his promotion. And he got drunk last night. And he hit me.
It's not true. I did not hit her. Well, maybe you should have a girl, Mark.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I like how the summary at least admits that it's inexplicable.
Right? Jesus fucking Christ. So I know you'd never seen this film before.
I had not seen this film.
And this was a film that I picked because I knew you had never seen it.
I'm really glad you did pick it.
Yeah. So coming to this as a complete newbie to the film, what did you think of it?
So this is the kind of movie where I like normally not knowing anything about movies before I see them, but I wish I had known like what kind of bad this was, because this is totally the kind of bad that is fun to laugh at with like other people. But when you watch it late at night by yourself when everyone else is asleep, it's not as fun, man. It's actually just infuriating, especially for someone who like would like to be a filmmaker. It's frustrating because I wish I had $6 million to blow on a movie just for funsies. Because honestly, that's what when I was looking this movie up, apparently Tommy is like not a filmmaker. It's just like what he does for fun. At least that's what I've read.
No, I mean, I think he's a filmmaker. I mean, from what I've read in the interviews and stuff.
It says that he's independently fine. Like he's.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He, that's kind of one of the bigger questions that you come away with from this movie is who in their right mind produced this. And then when you realize that the person who produced this film is the man who stars in it and wrote it, then you don't have any questions as to,
Exactly.
Right? You don't have any question as to who or how this fucking movie got made.
Right. I guess that's what it is. It's just you're just watching it seeing right through it the whole time.
Yeah. So, the movie made you mad.
I guess it did. I guess mostly just because I was jealous. I wish I could, I guess there's no reason I can't. There's no reason I can't, except for I like my, I guess I'm being hard on it. It was a lot of fun to laugh at that acting. It was really fun. And like the 15-minute sex scenes that went on, that were basically the same thing looped over and over.
That reused the same footage.
It was pretty great.
You mean amazing?
It was pretty amazing. I mean, like, it's like you watch this movie and it's basically anyone can point at all the bad things that happen. I don't know.
So I love this movie. Obviously, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have picked it. This movie is the kind of, I guess it's the pinnacle of bad movies at this point. When I think of a movie so bad that it's still bad, but it's so bad in just like an endearingly bad way, I think of this movie. Not only does it have someone involved who is quite possibly one of the strangest human beings known to man, in Tommy Wiseau, but it also it feels like a student film that became a full film.
Yeah.
And the kind of the story behind the film is almost more interesting than the film itself.
That's always the best.
Yeah. I mean, there's an entire book written about the film by Greg Sestero, who played Mark in the film, called The Disaster Artist.
Oh, man.
Where he kind of chronicles the relationship between him and Tommy Wiseau and how the film got made. And that book is being turned into a film directed by and acted in and produced by none other than James Franco.
Oh, amazing.
Playing Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, God, yes.
And his brother is playing Greg Sestero. So this movie has obviously become kind of a cultural kind of cornerstone for bad films and the midnight movie kind of thing. But I mean, I really love this movie. I watch it probably once a year. I can't watch it too often because it's not good.
Right, exactly.
And like you said, there are times where I'm like, this is fucking like, even sometimes when I watch the movie, for as much as I enjoy it, I'm like, oh my God, this movie's fucking like just shit.
Exactly.
So,
but you're right. There's some fun in it. There's some fun in when it's just completely absurd. Like you can't help but laugh and enjoy it for what it is. But man, it's just there are things that are just so elementary that are just wrong with it. You know what I mean? That you just kind of like you kind of have to, as an audience member, take your brain out.
Well, and the things about this movie that are good are Tommy Wiseau's absolutely insane performance.
Yeah, that's
and everyone else essentially just trying to react to him.
Yeah, exactly. And then like a normal way and make us believe that they have spent more than the amount of times on set with him. You know what I mean? It just is, it feels, it's so funny because that's true. It's like the most interesting thing about this is seeing the other actors kind of work with him.
And, you know, that's kind of my issue with this movie is that, you know, the insanity and the kind of just strangeness that is Tommy Wiseau took this movie from something that was just a little weird independent movie and turned it into this insanity that, you know, I don't want to say this for sure because I don't really know, but you know, the worst and the best thing about this movie is Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
Right?
He's the sort of force that makes this movie worth watching. It's like
he's the force that makes it worth watching, but he's also the force that makes this movie so bad.
Exactly, because he is in essence, he's the one holding the strings to everything. So I mean,
and that's the thing I hate about this movie is that it's great because of Tommy Wiseau, but at the same time, it's so bad because of Tommy Wiseau.
Exactly. Well, that's kind of what makes it. I guess that's what makes it such a cultural phenomenon. Because like, why else? Because honestly, I don't understand. Like, I understand how you could enjoy this just for the sheer ridiculousness of it. But if it wasn't for him, it would just be sad to watch. You know what I mean? There's something about it that he just makes it. He's such a character. My gosh.
And you're completely right. There really is something about his performance in this film that you can't look away.
It's kind of like the last nail in the coffin, you know, in a great way.
Yeah, you can't look away, and it's entertaining, but it's entertaining in a way that is like you don't know if the person.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Person you're watching is all there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's funny because when I watched this movie, that's something that stood out to me right away, that I was watching the man who created this and who is the reason for this, everyone being here today on set. So it's funny, as I watched the movie, I wasn't really watching Johnny, I was watching Tommy. You know what I mean? And it was really interesting seeing how just absurd things would happen in the script that would self-serve the script, and seeing the actors try to justify it. But for Tommy, it was just all good, man. Everything was fine, which was hysterical. It was really funny to watch. It was so meta. It was the meta performance that was really fun for me.
Well, and that's the thing about the kind of the backstory,
right?
For this movie is that so much of what makes this movie kind of great is the more you know about it. You know, the fact that some of the actors in the film were replaced halfway through the movie.
Oh my gosh.
By other actors. So you're like, what the fuck is going? You know what I mean? What the fuck is going on? Some of the characters in the movie, they really do. The psychologist friend played by Kyle Vogt, Peter. Halfway through the movie, he just disappeared.
That's right. And then there's the characters that are introduced right after that, that are important. Oh my gosh,
it's astounding.
Yeah, it breaks all the rules of basic storytelling. I don't know. It's just that's what's so funny about it is that everything wrong. It does everything wrong.
Well, and you're right, and that's the best part about this movie, like you said, is that it breaks all the rules in a way that you've almost never seen before.
Exactly.
I mean, there's terrible green screen.
Yeah. Oh, God! Everything on the roof is just so bad.
The use of tuxedos and footballs is nothing short of. I don't know. It's nothing short of it changes the way you will ever look at people in tuxedos and footballs.
Absolutely. It's it looks like a romance novel cover. I mean, it's hysterical. Right? It's really funny. I mean, everything is so forced like that. I mean, the football itself is such a contrived symbol of like bromanship. You know what I mean? Like every time we need to clarify that these guys are friends, let's whip out a football, even though none of them look like they've ever thrown a football before. It's so funny.
Or when Kyle Voigt's character trips over his own feet.
Oh, that was the best. Because he was worried about getting dirty in the first place. So, of course, he was going to fall.
Yeah. What kind of bums me out about your experience with this movie is that it took you so long to watch it.
For real.
Because I feel like this movie, since you were an actor in LA, this movie came to prominence because of that scene in LA.
Yeah, that's true.
Was, people just, saying, hey, you need to check this crazy ass movie
out. Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of how this movie came into this position that it's in now, where it is almost in the same pantheon, I would say, as like Rocky Horror.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's almost got that same sort of cult following, which I didn't even know about, honestly, until like I talked to one of my friends who had seen it, and they were like, they had the same sort of expression that you did. They were sort of like, "You've got to see this. I can't believe you haven't seen it."
Yeah, and that is really what is surprising about a lot of people that I consider to be really well-known film aficionados is that they haven't seen this movie.
Yeah, and I agree. I feel like you have to see this movie.
Right. And this movie it feels like the movie that everyone who is into movies should see.
Absolutely. I said, I'm so glad that I've seen this now.
There's parts in this film where scenes are reused, namely the sex scenes.
Yeah, and they're so long, man. They're so long.
There are subplots that are introduced merely as one-off lines.
Exactly.
Namely, Lisa's mom says that she has breast cancer.
I was dying because it never.
And then she just goes, "Oh, you'll be okay."
Yeah, and she is. She's totally fine, as far as we know.
And you're just like, what? Like, because it's never revisited. You really kind of are waiting for it, right?
Yeah. The whole time I was waiting for that to come back, but it didn't.
And it's just, this movie almost leaves me at a loss for words because, unlike some of the other films we've watched this month, namely Howard the Duck, Garbage Pail Kids, Jingle All the Way 2, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, those movies are bad and they're boring.
Right.
There's not a whole lot going on. There's not much to look at. They don't really serve a purpose in kind of the grand scheme of quality films.
Right.
Like quality bad films, obviously. But then you come to this movie and there's so much going on. Every single line that Tommy Wiseau says in this movie is insane.
And the way he says it too.
Right? Oh, hi, doggy. You're so funny. You think everything like it. He almost sounds like he is sleepwalking through everything.
He looks like it too. It's scary. It's like, honestly, it's like so weird. It's weird, but it's fascinating.
And in the film, to me, it gets close to the notion of a vanity piece because, I mean, even if you look at it, he has his face on the poster for the film.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And that's what honestly, that's how it feels for the first, 20 minutes of the movie, where it's like this just gratuitous sex scene where you can see, a lot more of his body than I was expecting. And, it just feels weird. It's weird. I don't know. I know that's sort of how I felt when I...
Well, and that's the thing about the movie, right, is that, because he's so prominently featured in the film, because he is the main character in the film, of which all the other characters rotate around.
Yeah.
His performance is the one that is the most important to either nail or completely botch.
Right.
And, we know what happened.
Right.
He botched it.
Yeah.
And you'll notice we haven't talked about the plot.
Yeah.
Because the plot is almost non-existent.
It really isn't. It's just dancing around the same sort of idea, which is that's what also makes it feel like a vanity project. It's literally, but that's sort of what happens. That's sort of the risk that you run when you produce, direct, write, and star in your movie,
Right. And we've seen that in other vanity projects where, like a film like Toys, Barry Levinson had been working on this film for 10 years. And when he finally got it made. I mean, it was a failure. It wasn't an epic failure like this, but it was a failure nonetheless. And you're like, okay, I see you really wanted to make this regardless of how it comes out. And, you know, Tommy Wiseau was not a filmmaker. He was a failed actor, more or less. And he realized the only way he was ever going to get the star in his own film was to be
the everythinger. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, to make it so that there was no other choice.
Exactly.
And he got his wish.
You know what? And that's maybe that's like the deep, dark rooted jealousy that I feel for him. You know what I mean? Like, because he did it. Like, and that is how you do it. So I gotta just throw some respect at him. You know what I mean? Like, one way or another, he did that. He made it happen.
Well, and that for me really is the one thing about this film that I am, you know, I do enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase this. This is one of the traits of Tommy Wiseau that, aside from his terrible acting and his poor choices on a lot of stuff, I do respect. Is that he did all this himself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that takes some balls.
It does.
To put yourself out there.
I totally agree. And I love that. I saw like something when I was looking this up beforehand because I was just in disbelief. There was something just that said that if he could go back and change it, he said he would do the same thing. He said he's happy with the way it ended up. And I gotta respect him for that because that is hard. I don't know. Those are the sort of things that weigh on me.
And to be fair, I would too if a film that I made in a serious light that was supposed to have, and I quote, the passion of Tennessee Williams, and it's a bumbling mess, a bumbling comedic mess. The movie that I made that would in any other kind of situation be a total failure, right. It becomes this giant cult classic.
Exactly.
I wouldn't change it either if it was some giant success.
Right, exactly. And that's the only way that it, kind of could be, because it's like if he was a decent actor, it wouldn't have been the same. It would have been painful.
He never has to make another movie ever again for the rest of his life.
Exactly.
He never has to make another movie for the rest of his life. He frankly doesn't have to do anything because he can ride the wave of this movie forever.
Yeah.
And he will never make a movie as bad as this one ever again.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you can't make a movie this bad.
Definitely. Not on I don't think
on purpose.
Exactly. That's the key, on purpose.
Right? I mean, you can try as you might.
And then you'll get a movie like Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Yeah, I mean, you can't actively make a memorable bad movie like this one.
Right. This has just too many gems to...
Yeah.
Yeah. You just can't.
Like, oh, hi, doggy.
Oh, hi, doggy.
Or, you're tearing me apart, Lisa. Like, everything in this movie is so nuts.
It's insane. It's just, it's at a level 10 at all times.
When, like I said, we've talked about this where some of these bad movies really are... They have one or two really memorable things, like in Silent Night, Deadly Night. Oh, garbage day. That was like the best part of the movie. This movie has like top to bottom, left to right, all sorts of memorable shit.
So much great stuff because, when Tommy...
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror. We'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Isn't on screen, he's directing, so there's just brilliant moment after brilliant moment.
And that is such a rare quality in a bad movie.
Yeah.
So
I just love, there's some scenes that are clear, that they maybe rehearsed it once. The camera guy just kind of showed up. And I think my favorite scene is the one where they're out by the trash cans just talking, and then they all just happen to be there. It was all in one take, man.
That's what it's about.
That's what it's about. That one take.
It really is. It's one take or don't do it.
That's for real.
Yeah. Well, let's play the interview with Mladen Milicevic, and we'll talk a little bit about what it was like to work with Tommy Wiseau and just the kind of phenomenon that is this film. And when we get back, we'll finish up talking about the film. Hi, this is Editor-in-Chief of Culture Shock, Chris Stachiw. I'm here with Mladen Milicevic, the composer for the music from The Room. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
So let's get right to it. How did you get involved with the film The Room?
I did music for another film, which was called Reality Bites, and it was produced by Langley Productions. They used to produce the show Cups on television, if you remember. And the editor of that film was Eric Chase, who edited The Room. So Eric knew me and called me up and said, hey, there's this guy needs music for his film. Would you be interested in scoring it? And I said, yeah, okay, let me see what the film is and get me in touch with the director. So he got me in touch with Tommy, and Tommy said, you have to watch Streetcar Named Desire because that's exactly the movie that we made. I mean, that kind of movie. So I thought, wow, Streetcar Named Desire, not really memorable score. It's a theater play. I mean, music didn't play that much in that film anyways. It was just like transitions and stuff like that. But, I rented the VHS back in those days, watched the film, and then I got together with Tommy to watch The Room. So watched The Room, and I couldn't believe that Tommy would make a reference to Streetcar Named Desire. So, it was like bizarre from the get-go, but I said, okay, what the heck, let's, go with this. And that's how everything started. So when they finished the picture, I got, the whole movie to score. And Tommy wasn't involved that much in the process. He was kind of more interested in legal aspects of it. It's I signed a contract where I give them all the rights and stuff like that. But the editor was, far more interested, Eric Chase, in, how music is coming along. So, like if you go on YouTube, you would actually find the original theme that I did for The Room, which they didn't like because they thought it was too dark. And, I made it kind of dark because to me, it's a tragedy. Okay, a guy commits suicide at the end. I mean, there's, but they wanted something more upbeat. And then I came up with this existing tune that is, main theme of The Room, one on the piano. So, and that was it. And then, I finished everything, delivered, the score, and that was the end of the story until several years after that, that I, realized what movie turned into, that it started becoming this, phenomenon that it is, today. So that's, in a nutshell, how it all, started and what happened.
And so let's talk a little bit about your music background. What is kind of your background with music? Before we talk a little bit more about The Room, what is your background with music?
Well, I have 2 masters and a doctorate in music composition, and my specialty was always electronic music, and experimental music. So I started scoring films very early. I scored first documentary, I think, when I was 18, because my mom and dad were filmmakers. My mom was an editor. My dad was, DP, cinematographer. So I kind of grew up in the film making environment, and it was kind of easy for me to transition from, being a composer into being a film composer. And it started very early, and I did an awful lot of, theater plays and, TV movies and stuff like that back in my country, which used to be Yugoslavia back then. I came to the United States in 86, so, 29 years here. And so that's how I got into, film music. But I was doing it for a good part of my life, like in parallel. Film music, which was sort of like commercial, and also producing, rock and pop music back in my home country. And and on the other side, doing like all this extra experimental and academic stuff with symphony orchestras and, electronic music and playing concerts, at all these academic venues for academic, quote unquote serious music. So that's kind of my music background. But I ended up teaching audio. I'm the chair of the recording arts department at Leo Marymount University. So my students in the department, they do sound for film and they record and produce music. So that's, what I'm doing here for the last 18 years in Los Angeles.
And, obviously you mentioned a little bit about, the film kind of becoming a phenomenon. I mean, how has that affected you and your career and kind of your notoriety in the kind of the composition and just kind of the film community?
Well, I'll tell you how I realized what was going on. I mean, Tommy started putting ads in LA Weekly right from the beginning. He would just buy a quarter of a page and, put movie, the room in the theaters, actually saying next Tennessee Williams. I think I still have some of those. And that was going on, and I thought, okay, that's bizarre. He even applied for an Oscar. I mean, that's in the beginning. He was deadly serious that this was actually next Tennessee Williams. And this is how he was advertising it, and this is how he was, pursuing the whole thing. And applied for an Oscar, even nominated music for an Oscar. So maybe like 3 years after that, then he had all these, posters and, big billboards in Hollywood about the film. But 3 years after that, I've learned that the movie is playing in some theater. And I had a friend of mine sent there, said, oh, the movie is playing, you should go see it. It's a hoot. So he went to see it, and he sent me pictures and called me on the phone from the theater. And I said, what's going on? How can you do this? He says, you have no idea what's going on here. I mean, it's a whole performance, happening right in the theater. And that's how I learned that the movie had made this turn from, being just, regular movie that screens in theaters to a performance arts kind of piece. And, so I went to several of those just to see what's going on and, have fun with everything. But it didn't really influence my career in film scoring that much. My students, love the fact that their, professor was involved with the room because they all know about the film. Young people know about the film. Like if you get somebody who's, let's say over their 30, they usually never heard of the film. But all the, students, they know. And it didn't change much. Now it's kind of interesting because I'm scoring. I'm just about to get the film. There's a documentary called "A Room Full of Spoons," which is done by a Canadian guy, Rick Harper, and it's a feature-length documentary about the whole phenomenon. They went around the world and shot at all these different theaters, different performances. They did all kinds of research. So the movie is going to be quite a revelation for the Room fans around the world. So I'm just about to score that probably in the next 15 days and finish it. So it's probably going to go out and every Room fan would probably like to have it because it's something you must have. Like you must have Disaster Artist, the book.
Right.
So, and I was there for the signing of the book. When the book came out, I think it was like 2 years ago. I came to a theater in Hollywood where Greg Sestero was signing the book, and there was a huge line, people getting in the theater. And actually, then I saw the actors. Then I saw the actors who were in the film after 10 years not seeing them. So it was interesting just to, talk to them like, what are you doing now? And I don't think that anybody is really involved with films. Maybe a woman who played Michelle in the film. I think she's doing something on the screenwriting side, but everybody else is, doing something else with their life. So that it's interesting to, find that out.
And there's been a lot of talk about and speculation about what Tommy Wiseau is like and who he is as a person. What was your interactions with him like? Or is the book, The Disaster Artist, pretty close to the kind of person he is, or what was your interaction with him?
Well, very little, but he's a very iconoclastic type of person, and he is, doesn't talk much. I mean, you have to really make an effort to get him to say something. He only says things that he needs, but I never had a chit chat with him. So, and then we didn't have that much interaction, as I told you. He in just initial meeting that he just showed me the film, and then when we signed up a contract, pretty much, I was at the opening of the film. We talked a little bit, but he's a very unique type of person, likes to keep things very mysterious. Like if you ask him, where you from, because he has an accent. I mean, that was the most logical thing for me to ask him, because I have an accent. So he says, I'm Cajun. I'm from Louisiana, which is makes absolutely no sense. But he would never, nobody knows, really what's going on there. Because he keeps things, quite mysterious and always. I don't know if you've been at the screenings when he talks, with the audience in the beginning. So, the way he answers questions is always kind of ambiguous, and you're never quite clear, what the answer is. So that was my interaction with him, because you see, I didn't spend that much time with him as Greg Sestero did, because they were making movie from the get-go. So
right.
Just the process of filming it, you with them all the time. But with film scoring, he just gives you the picture, and then you score, and then when you're done, you show it to him, and so we met maybe 3 times altogether throughout the scoring process. And maybe a couple of times at screenings where I said, hey, hi, Tom. Yeah.
And you mentioned that he mentioned to you to watch, Streetcar Named Desire, and that was kind of the inspiration for the music. For you, what was your inspiration behind the music for The Room?
Oh, it wasn't Streetcar Named Desire, because, that music is, kind of totally old-fashioned, out there. I don't know that I had a particular, inspiration. I just saw the picture and I sat down and said, okay, what do I do with this? And I figure out, I need a couple of themes. I need one theme for, Greg's for Mark in film, which is Greg Sestero's, role. And, went kind of through it, and I didn't think that much what would be an inspiration, because, frankly, I didn't take Room this is my chance to break into the industry. I was just being paid, very little, fee to score the film and give them all the rights. So I said, okay, it's a gig, I'm going to do it. I didn't think much of the film, and it was funny to me, most parts. So, so I couldn't say that there was an inspiration for the Room music that came from somewhere. And of course, I didn't do the songs.
Right.
I just did the score. He had some musicians who did those songs for the love scene. So I just did the regular soundtrack.
Well, and let's be honest, I'm not sure you'd want to take credit for some of those songs, even if you did do them.
I think, but they're perfect. They're perfect in the film. They're perfect in the film as it is right now, because people love the songs. They clap their hands, and sing along, and everything that they did for The Room is perfect for what it is. See, what I find totally bizarre is the neighbors. You know what I mean? But the neighbors show that Tommy is pushing.
Right.
He's making that. He's trying to make that bad, and it's not funny. It's just plain awful. And the beauty of The Room is that it was genuine. He truly believed that he was making a masterpiece. He genuinely applied it for the Oscars. He asked me. He said, I want to release a CD with music from The Room. How should we name all these tracks? I said, any way you want them. Who cares? But I said, well, why do you want to release CD? Who's going to buy a CD from The Room? He says, oh, you don't know. people may be interested in that. I said, but if people buy a CD from the movie, they, it's got to be a famous movie that, Julia Roberts or Jack Nicholson. And they said, but you never know. I may be next Jack Nicholson. And this was like right after the movie was to be released. And he genuinely believed that. If you look at the ads in LA Weekly as they came out originally, it said next Tennessee Williams, blah, blah, blah. And then later on, he changed this into black comedy. The most interesting thing is to find out, like, what's the point at which he realized that this is not next Tennessee Williams and this is something that people are actually laughing at. So that's an interesting thing, and I don't know. I would like to talk to him and find out about it, but I doubt that he would, say anything. I also scored another film with him. I scored Homeless in America.
So you worked with him again after The Room in a documentary short that he made called Homeless in America. What was it like working with him again?
It's the same thing. Actually, I doubted that I even saw him on that one because Eric, Chase edited this. So Eric just sent me, the video, and I scored it and sent it back to him. I don't even remember that we met, but at that time, I think the room already became this phenomenon. So I was just doing it for fun. I said, I'll do anything for Tommy. Even now, whatever he, if he makes whatever movie, I'd score it because to me, just it's fun to do that. So I kind of enjoy being involved in the room-related projects, which is, kind of interesting. But I did that film. And this is, maybe The Room didn't probably, see, I have to look at the dates, but probably it did not become a bizarre movie yet. Because at that point, Tommy still believed that he will have a legitimate filmmaker's career, and that's why he made this documentary,
right.
Because it was done genuinely. Okay, so that's the next step. Okay, I did the feature, now I'm doing the documentary, and then maybe something else. He had something else also in mind that he was talking about. I forgot what it was. Another movie or something. But then this is why I'm saying the most interesting thing, and I would like to find that out. Like, what happened in his head when he said, gee, this is not going to be, Tennessee Williams type of work. I can actually turn this into inversion of it and, start making money and, getting fame based on people looking at it as a Rocky Horror Picture Show type of thing. So to me, if there's anything intriguing about The Room that I would like to know and ask Tommy, that would be it. Like, Tommy, what happened? Was there like a moment of epiphany that you just realized, wow, I could do this, So that's my question for Tommy. But I doubted that I would have a chance to talk to him that way, and that he would even give me an answer that is straight.
Well, and I've read in different spots that now he's obviously going back on what he originally said and said, well, it was originally supposed to be a comedy from the get-go, and
oh no way.
Right, obviously not, but I mean that really is the kind of the question that I think a lot of people have for him is what was it that made you realize that this is obviously, it's not a good movie, it's a movie that needs to be embraced as a bad movie, and when are you accepting that and just kind of embracing it as opposed to just trying to fight it?
Yeah, so that, definitely. Everything he says now is a spin. So you have to understand he has this business that thrives on people coming and laughing at the film and, doing the performance and, so everything he does and says actually feeds to that business model. And I just realized recently, and I haven't seen any of those, but I will go. See, right now they have in Vancouver, Canada, they have a script reading, which is another just brilliant idea. So what they do, they probably they set the table, they get all the characters from the audience, and the audience knows all the lines anyways, but they all get the script, and then they read the movie as if it were, performed. I mean, this is kind of like what they do in Hollywood. They read the theater play. They just go, have a reading, and they have a reading of the film just to see, how it's everything going to go. So that.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind the scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
That's another approach that he's taking. So he's not only screening a movie, but now he can do screenplay reading, and that is every time different because you put different people to read different characters, and the audience can participate differently. They probably chime in and who knows what. But as soon as there is one in LA, I will go just to check it out to see how that works. But he's developing this business model. I mean, even in my country right now, that I have citizenship in, in addition to American, which is Croatia, they have the Room Fun Club, okay? I mean, that's a country of 4 million people. Okay, think about it. So, everything he says has to feed into this new model. I don't know if you read his interview somewhere online about the disaster artist being made into New Line, cinema film with James Franco. So, he was very mysterious and, talks about it. So he's trying to get as much as mileage on The Room as possible, which is completely understandable. I mean, he's got something that is, financially viable, and apparently he thrives on it. So.
Well, and like you said, it's kind of hard to recapture that, and you can't make something bad on purpose and capture the kind of lightning in a bottle that he did with The Room.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost, this is what the easiest metaphor. Okay, let's say if you have a professional singer and say to that singer, sing out of tune. I mean, that's unbelievably difficult, to do it on purpose, I mean, they can do it, but you would see that as fake. Okay, so let's say if we got Adele and say, Adele, sing out of tune, or Taylor Swift. I mean, they can do it, but it wouldn't be as genuine as somebody who cannot sing. You can tell that. Somebody who cannot sing is just like completely off, and it's genuinely off. And you hear the people that are trying to do it, that they're actually making an effort to do that, and it just transpires through. So you see that it's not genuine. So this is why, the Neighbors show is just like plain terrible. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. It's not funny. Maybe people find it out that is funny, but to me, it just doesn't work. So the beauty of The Room is that it was genuinely done, believing that this is next Tennessee Williams, that Tommy is going to be next, John, Jack Nicholson, huge actor, that this is, he applied for Oscars. I mean, he asked me, can I apply your music for the Oscars? I said, yeah. So yeah, so that's the story, but certainly very interesting story to tell. And I always, get great laughs when I, talk to people who don't know anything about the film, and then they Google it and find all these different, things on YouTube. My favorite one is Hitler Watches the Room. I don't know if you've seen that one. Just if you go on YouTube, yeah, that's just like I cry, watching that. It's just like so funny. But there are all kinds of things. Like I get lots of requests from people to send them the score, to do this. Would I, ask me questions, stuff like that. But one that was like really interesting happened last year. I get an email from a woman says, "Hey, Mladen, I studied at Juilliard with Michael Tchaikovsky, and you studied with him at Juilliard too. But I'm not really writing to you about Juilliard. I'm writing to you about my best friend who is turning 40, and I would like to give him as a present the score of The Room with my signature on it, because he's great fan of the film." And I said, absolutely. So I printed the score, I put my signature there, I sent it. And she's the head of the opera house somewhere in Oregon. So I sent it to her that. And then apparently at his 40th birthday, she gave him the present, which was the score, with my, dedication, to him. And she wrote back and said, "Oh my God, you have no idea how, happy he was. He just couldn't believe it. It was a great surprise," and blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was kind of interesting set of circumstances. So that's the story of, fans contacting me.
Right. So I'm kind of curious, and you haven't really, we haven't really broached the topic yet, but what are your feelings on the film?
Well, just like anybody else's in the industry. I mean, the film is terrible as a film. So if you're going to look at it and judge it against the regular movies, I mean, this is definitely one of the worst made movies ever, in all kinds of professional respects, acting, screenplay, but everything. And but what it became, that's a different story. So it's not, you don't look at it as a movie, you look at it as a phenomenon. But, like somebody will watch that movie the same way you would watch, Project 9 Outer Space, by Ed Wood, So, it used to be, I don't know if you remember in Blockbuster stores, they had different sections, and there was a section called Le Bed Cinema, and they had like all these, like terrible movies, big jello blobs attacking the earth, all kinds of crazy stuff. And actually, John Waters' movies, the early ones with Divine, were also there.
Right.
Mondo Trasho and, that kind of stuff. So they had this whole section of movies that were bad, and people apparently enjoyed that, watching them just for that reason. So The Room falls in that, category. And, so if you look at it that way, yeah, well, great, But if you look at it for what he intended it to be, which is something on the level of Streetcar Named Desire, man. I mean, what can you say? So it's,
well, if you look at it like that, you wonder if he's ever even seen A Streetcar Named Desire.
But he has. But see, the beauty of it is that he cannot see. I mean, to him, probably that's the same thing. I mean,
right.
See, people that are not professionally trained, I mean, they don't see an awful lot of things. Like, for example, I teach students how to record bands. And, they get a band, and they're usually like garage bands and, student bands, and most of them can't play properly. So we get them in the studio, and they play, and it's just, they are awful, okay? And then they come, to the control room to listen to what they recorded. And they say, wow, great, high five, which means that they have no idea how bad it is. They can't really hear that they are out of time, out of tune, that everything's, bad, because they have no point of reference in terms of, quality. So for that reason, Tommy couldn't really tell in the beginning that you shouldn't really apply this film for the Oscars, because it wouldn't it wouldn't do anything. I mean, the reason probably why he played it, but the reason why he put the movie in the theaters to begin with, I think, was so that he can say that the movie played in the theaters, because you can't apply a movie for an Oscar if it didn't play. I mean, you know that rule.
Right.
It has to play, I guess, 3 times in a real theater, in order to be nominated. So I think that's why it got in the theaters first place. Because, the opening wasn't, I think, on Beverly and Fairfax, and the theater's closed down now, but he came in a white limo that has a big poster of, his face, from The Room on it. And it was 7 p.m. in June or July or summer, okay? It had a searchlight at 7 p.m., okay? You couldn't see a searchlight, makes no sense. And everybody got actually a bag with a booklet, and I don't have that booklet anymore, and I don't know where it is. A booklet with all the, like photographs from the film and like important lines. So, Lisa, you're tearing me apart. So like every character had his or her famous line in there. And there was also CD with music in it. And I don't know, maybe something else. But everybody received this coming into the theater. And then like 15 minutes into the film, like people started like giggling and laughing, and some of them left. And then after that, we had a party, and the party was great, local Spanish restaurant that they served, food. I mean, it was like really, well done in terms of promotion, except that what he was promoting didn't really warrant any of that. So, yeah, so that's how the opening night came about. I think I even have a picture. I may send you a picture on the email. Me and Tommy at the party after the opening night. So. And
what do you remember? What he was like that evening after listening to everyone? Obviously,
see, believe it or not, it's just the same. I mean, you could, first of all, he had one of the things that you could never figure out what's going on with him is because he has these shades all the time. He wears the glasses all the time, dark glasses, so even at night. So he was with shades. I mean, even of that picture, which is like night at the restaurant, he was with shades all the time. So you can't really tell that much of his expression. But generally, I've never seen him change his mood or emotion. In all my interactions with him, it's just like he's got like one emotion, A. So there's no B, C, D, happy, sad, excited, and all that. He was even at that, opening night, he was just plain emotion A, the same neutral. So you couldn't tell, wow, this is a man who just opened his, movie and should be happy at that party and all that. I didn't sense any of that. He was just the same as it always were. I've never thought about it, but actually it's true. So. Is
there anything you're working on now you'd like to talk about? I know you touched on Room Full of Spoons a little bit.
Yeah, Room Full of Spoons. I'm going to be working on that, and I'm in it because they interviewed me just the way you interviewed me.
I would assume so.
Yeah. So they interviewed me, and so I'm in the movie. But I'm curious, just what he got in the film, because he's been all over the world. He's been doing this for like 2 years. So he's been at the screenings in Amsterdam, Berlin, and London, and Paris, and and interviewed people, and so I'm really curious to see what's in the film. And he told me that there are going to be some revelations about the film and Tommy and all that. So I'm really curious, seeing that, and we're going to finish it, and then. He has to see what to do with the film, like how is he going to distribute it and all that. But it's going to be very interesting to actually watch the documentary and get that, because I think that's the first actually legitimate documentary about the Room, because there were people. Even Tommy did one about himself. You remember before the Room came on DVD. There was a documentary about people coming out of theater and after watching the Room and saying what they thought about the Room.
Right. Right.
I mean, I don't know if you have that DVD, but that's the one that they were selling. Because I think DVD came pretty late because they didn't want people to see the movies. They wanted people to come to the theater, and which was, again, he's got a sense of business. You see, if he let them have DVD, people probably would just watch DVD like they watch Mondo Trasho. Okay.
Right.
And they wouldn't come to the theater. So what he did, he didn't release the DVD. He released all this other stuff. And people would have to come to the theater, which actually fed into developing, throwing the spoons, the roses, playing football, like all these things, that people do in the theater during the screening. So I mean, when you think of from the business point of view, he actually did everything right, all pretty, smart, after he realized that the room could be placed in a way that is placed now. So I think, Tommy knows what he's doing business-wise, probably much more than what he knows about filmmaking. So I would probably trust his judgment in business in some way a great deal, because what he did with this is really smart. So you can't say anything about that, because I don't know what else could have been done in order to make this even bigger phenomenon than it is. So apparently he knew how to do it. So,
well, I think that's kind of the one thing that I have taken away from the kind of the phenomenon of The Room is Tommy Wiseau might not be the best actor, and he's not, but he's one hell of a businessman.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll see. I'm kind of curious what he's going to do once James Franco's movie comes out, Disaster Artist, because, certainly he's going to get the boost from the film, because now this film will be introduced to much wider and more legitimate audience. So actually people who would have never considered right now going into one of the room screenings after watching James Franco's film say, man, this is crazy. Let me go check this out, So I think that Tommy is going to get the boost in the audience and his performances and the whole, phenomenon after James Franco's movie. So I think that's going to be, good for him. Also, the book actually helped Tommy, the Disaster Artist.
Right.
He embraced that and included it in his, own merch, because he's selling T-shirts, he's selling the screenplay, he's selling, DVDs and CDs, like everything that, he could sell, he sells at the screenings. And I don't know, probably online, I didn't check that, but, he's making money in every possible, outlet that he can. And you have to admire that. So
yeah, no, I totally agree. It's just, I think it is astounding that it has been as big as it has for the last 10 years.
It'll continue because now it's classic.
Right.
And it'll continue, and people will keep laughing at it, and there'll be more and more YouTube videos and more stuff. There's constantly new stuff coming, because now it's something. Oh, you have to check it out. You don't know about the films. Like all my students who haven't seen it are persuaded by students who have seen it. I say, oh my God, I got to go see a movie. But it's not only that. People go there for fun. See, like. Everybody in pretty much, I would say 90% of the audience have seen movies, The Room, multiple times. They know all the dialogue lines. They know what's going to happen. You cannot, hear, either dialogue or music from the screen, how much they, interact with the film. So, one of the best descriptions for the film, and I think I said this in one of the interviews that I got from, I took one of my girlfriends, to see the film, and she said, you know what? This is just like a porn. I said, what do you mean? She said, it is like the quality of acting is like a quality of acting in the porn film. Remember, like in the porn, they always have some kind of silly story. Santa Claus comes and, brings the gifts, puts them under the, Christmas tree, and then they start having sex. So they exchange some of these stupid lines and the plot for for the porn. So it's actually on that level. The acting is on the level of, people in the porn acting. And the plot is on the level of the porn, except that there's no action. So I thought that really captured that, because it is that amateurish, just like a porn. So I kind of like that comparison. I thought that really captured, the essence of how it comes across. So it's funny. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. It really is to some extent porn without the porn.
Yeah, without sex in it.
Yeah.
I mean, there is some, but not on the level of the porn.
Yeah.
So yeah. Interesting.
Thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me. It's been great.
You're very welcome. Okay, take care.
Big thanks to Mladen Milicevic for sitting down and talking with me. So let's talk about the music in the film. It's kind of it's one of my favorite parts of the movie.
That's funny.
And he didn't do the songs.
Oh, okay, so
he composed the music.
Even better. I like that.
But I mean, the theme song for this movie is like, now whenever you hear it, you will know.
I'm trying to look for. It's funny because I just remember like the really awesomely awkward soundtrack underneath those.
You are my rose. You are my rose.
Yes.
You are my rose. Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm talking about. I mean, I'm talking about the orchestral score. Bum 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 ba da dum 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 dum. It's like it's so good in a way that fits the film.
Yeah, it's almost melodramatic and it's kind of perfect.
Yeah. And that really is another thing that just makes this movie great, is that everything about this movie ties in with the fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everything is working on the same page. I kind of love that. It's like group mind.
Oh God. So I'm curious, for you as a newbie, having never seen the film before, what is your favorite scene and your favorite piece of dialogue?
Oh, okay. This is fun. My favorite scene. Man, I think it's this. Okay, I know my favorite scene. My favorite scene is the fight that they have on the roof. It's so easily my favorite scene. This is when Danny, right? That's his name. Danny brings this like obvious bank robber with like the shackles still around.
Drug dealer, man.
That's right. All he's missing is like the black and white striped, outfit.
The aptly named Chris R.
Yeah. Who is by far maybe one of my favorite actors in the film. Just saying. And they have like this ridiculous fight on top of this horrible green screen. And it's like maybe it's like the first time we really see it. But the fact that he brought this criminal to the roof of their apartment to have this exchange just cracked me up. I thought that whole scene was hysterical. And it was just, that's when I got to see like the magic of the blocking. Everyone's sort of flat against their cheating to the camera. It's just so great. I love it. And then my favorite line, I think.
I just got to ask you, where's my fucking money, Denny? What self-respecting drug dealer sells you drugs?
Exactly.
Without
the money up front.
Right?
Right? What is wrong with these people?
That's really not good business.
Yeah, no. That was yeah, he must have read the script, man. He knew.
He was just like, I don't fucking know.
Oh man, that's the thing, like a lot of those scenes had like conflict that was contrived and it totally doesn't make sense.
And I have really kind of said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it on the record finally. This movie to me feels like it was a film written by someone who is like an alien.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what an alien, after watching like the soap operas and stuff, this is what an alien thinks people sound like.
Exactly. It's the best because you can totally tell he wrote it, and like everyone's interpreting it. It's amazing. And then I guess my favorite, it's not even a clever line. It's just really funny because I saw it in a GIF. And now
any clever line?
I know, that's the thing. It's just so funny the way he says it.
It's not a clever line. Well, sorry to burst your bubble here, Sean, but there are none in this film.
I guess what I'm trying to say is the only reason I like it is because he says it. And he says, like, he comes bursting out of the roof door saying, I did not hit her. I did not. And then he just kind of like squints over to the other corner and sees his friend and just says, oh, hi, Mark. It all comes out like, I did not hit her. I did not hit her. Oh, hi, Mark. It's just...
You're forgetting the throwing of the water bottle, which if you read the Disaster Artist, it took him like 15 takes to do that line because he couldn't focus. So Greg Sestero handed him that water bottle so he could focus on something other than the line, and it turned out just fine.
That's incredible. Oh, man. So it was like a meeting of the minds, sort of like co-directors sort of helping each other out there. I love that. I love it.
It's not true. I did not hit that. I did not.
I did not.
That's just delivery of the line. I don't even have to overdo it.
No way. No. And I can see his face as you're saying it. It's the best.
Yeah, I did not. Like, oh God, Tommy Wiseau, you fucking idiot.
You dick. And then I still love it though. It's so good.
For me, favorite scene, I really like, it's probably cheating, but I really like kind of the end party scene.
Which part? Okay, which one?
All right, let's go outside.
Yeah,
all right, let's come back in.
Let's take inside. We're angry.
Pretty much starting from when he gets surprised.
Okay, yeah, good point.
To when everybody leaves.
Yeah.
Man, maybe she doesn't want you anymore, man.
Oh my gosh.
God, Greg Sestero, like, the non-committal in this film.
Exactly.
Right? Man, maybe she doesn't want you anymore, man. Like, oh God, like this shit is great.
It's just, it was hard to follow who was angry for what reasons. It was so back and forth, man. It was crazy. And you're right, like that. The whole party scene, like, I didn't know where it was going. It was just so it didn't seem like they knew where it was going either. Oh, gosh.
And, that's fine. Right? But it really comes across on screen like no one has any idea what's going on.
Exactly. It's just a mess. It's so...
there's some really great bits in that. You're just a chick and cheap, like, oh, dear God. Like Tommy Wiseau taunting him.
The cheaping. Cheap.
But my favorite kind of part from that scene is there's a point where they cut to him on the roof and you can see him like looking off camera and he's like motioning at something.
Oh my God, I have to watch it again.
I don't know what he's motioning at. I'm assuming he's motioning at someone with cue cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what he's motioning at, but you can see him like motioning at someone like down. Like, it's not like he's looking off and to the right and up. He's looking like down at the ground.
Oh my gosh.
So he's like making like a gesture and I don't know what he's looking at, but that to me is one of my favorite scene bits in this movie is it's like Tommy Wiseau staring at what might be someone off camera, directing them to do something and them not having the wherewithal to edit it out.
Oh, that's so funny. I need to watch that again. I have to catch that.
Yeah, it's literally him just like waving at something off camera and you're just like, what the
You're just so out of place.
What the fuck is he doing? But I think for me the best line of dialogue is probably, and how's your sex life? Because it encompasses the movie perfectly.
Yeah.
It is part of another set of dialogue that has nothing to do with this piece of dialogue.
Exactly.
When he says it's so nonchalant in its delivery that you almost have to do a second take as to did he just ask that?
Exactly. You have to pull me.
Is that like that's what he just did, huh? He's just like going to ask this question
and they're going to answer.
Right. And the way in which the line is delivered is so alien in the way it's asking that question. You understand that the person who has written these dialogue beats for the characters has no idea how real human beings talk.
Exactly. That's the whole thing about this whole. It's like it's so apparent that no one knows how people talk to each other in this movie. Oh, it's strange. And then you have actors who are trying their best. And it's funny because sometimes they're trying their best to make it make sense. And, God bless them for that.
But I think ultimately Tommy Wiseau sinks any chance of that.
Oh, no way. Yeah, exactly. He's like, you can try, but I'm going to be on the other side of this camera.
I am going to be here and good fucking luck,
exactly.
pal. And again, got to give him props where props are due, but this really is what happens when the director just gets his way.
Yeah.
And he has everything he could ever want at his fingertips, and he just blows it.
It's so true.
And he blows it in a way that is unlike any failure you've ever seen.
Exactly.
I mean, you'll never see another movie like The Room.
That's true. That's very true. Like, I never thought I would be able to see a movie like The Room because I didn't think anyone let that happen. But
well,
I'm very glad. I'm really glad.
Some people let it happen.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, right. Anything is possible if you believe.
Exactly. And you have a paycheck for it.
Right? If you're able to pay for it yourself, direct it yourself, and write it yourself, then
sure, then go ahead.
Then you got it.
You deserve it.
You got it. You are on the right track.
That's right.
You will never be questioned, and you can fire people, and they will have no other option other than to deal with it.
Exactly.
Oh.
We'll write a new character in for the second half.
Yeah, right. Oh God, there's so much other shit that like you almost want to talk about it, but you also want like people who've never seen the film to experience
Exactly.
it.
I know. Like I want to talk about the ending, but because it was such a great surprise for me, but I don't think I don't want anyone to know.
I love the ending.
And it doesn't even me saying that doesn't even spoil it because it really just doesn't.
The ending is astounding.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God. Like if you like you'll say to yourself the way I did, I can't believe he actually did it.
Like I can't believe that this is where this movie went.
Right. Like I know it could have gone there, but it definitely did go there, you know?
Right. Yeah, no. It's one of those things where you're just like, wow, like, all right.
Right.
I guess if you're gonna do a movie like this, you gotta fully commit to oh God, man, yeah, it's so funny. You just like shake your head.
Yeah, because the thing is, like I said at the beginning, everything about this movie is transparent, and it's like you can see straight through it, and that's the part that gets you. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're thinking about it, and it's like, wow, this man, he lived out this dark fantasy, you know,
and he got what he wanted. I mean, he made this film where he was the star. His face was on the poster. People went and saw it in theaters when it was released, and they laughed it out of the building.
Right, but so what? He did it.
So it happened.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty magic. I mean, you know, you gotta let that. I'm really glad that it did happen.
Yeah, I don't think that the world is a worse off place for this movie existing.
No way. It is the kind of movie where I'm like super glad I don't know anyone. Like, I'm so glad I don't know this guy. I'm like a close level because I would never want to have to like tell him about it. It's like I have friends who I go see their shows, and sometimes those shows aren't so good. And after the show, I'm like dreading for like them to ask me how I thought or what I thought or if I had seen it because like at the end of the day, this is his masterpiece, you know. So I'm just glad I don't.
Well, and that's the you know that's one of the other things about this movie, that the backstory of this film is that, you know, like we've kind of hinted at, Tommy Wiseau went into this serious. This was not a joke for him. And, you know, the people who are involved obviously realized that this was a joke. You know, once they read the script and got involved, you know, poor Juliette Danielle, who plays Lisa, having to bare her breasts and make out with Tommy Wiseau for
really long.
You know, she knew what she was getting into, but still.
Yeah. There's a difference between an idea and it really happening.
Yeah. But, you know, when this movie came out, like I said, it was supposed to be serious. And then as Tommy Wiseau realized no one was going to take it serious, he kind of changed his tune and was like, well, it was supposed to be a joke from the get-go.
Right, but it wouldn't be that good of a joke if it didn't start out with a serious note. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing about this is that's what makes it so funny or so memorable is like there's some real heart on the sleeves here, you know?
Well, and that's the thing that always kind of cracks me up about this movie is that Tommy Wiseau at any point ever tried to pass it off as a serious movie. Right? Like that to me is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like he thought, oh, this is going to be a serious movie. And it's like, man, Tommy Wiseau, like how high are you?
Yeah, we cannot take it.
And that's the thing about this movie that just cracks me up is that he thought that this was serious.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what makes it so like amazingly uncomfortable.
And I think that's what makes it an even more amazing failure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
that's the best part about it.
Yeah, because like we said, you can't make this movie on purpose.
Exactly.
You really have to make this by accident.
Yeah.
Or with good intention.
Exactly.
Serious.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh man, it's an experience. It is an experience. It is. I would say it is our generation's Rocky Horror.
Ooh, man, I really hope it turns out to be like that. I would like to go to like a shadow cast of The Room because I would actually love that.
Oh, they're making, like I said, they're making a disaster artist movie with James Franco, so it must have hit upon
That's
something.
That's going to be great. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
I don't know if it's going to be great, but it's going to be something.
Yeah, and it's exactly.
Right? I mean, it'll be something.
Oh, I'm so
I don't know what it's going to be.
I know, right? I can't imagine. I mean, it's got
James Franco, an absolute. I don't like James Franco.
Yeah.
I think that every movie that I've ever seen him in is him being himself. So him playing Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah. That could be interesting. That's weird.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I think that it takes a special kind of person to play Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
It'll be you or I. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't want that job anyway.
No way. Hell
no. But skip it or watch it, Sean, and best performance.
Oh, you gotta watch this one. This one is fun to watch, and I would recommend watching it under the influence and with your friends because it'll be a lot more fun to laugh at and just be ready to laugh. That's all I guess. You can't take it seriously. I tried to take it seriously, and that's where I went wrong. But this is, like I said, this movie really does belong in like a film class. Like it's a great way to study what not to do when you're writing your screenplay or when you're getting ready to take on your first lead role. But it's definitely worth a watch. Definitely fun. Because you're going to find things that even we didn't talk about that are just absurd, there's so many little gems.
And best performance.
I was still going to say best performance was that criminal. What's his name? Chris R.
Chris R,
which he wrote that on his SAG paper.
Played by Dan Jangian. Sorry, didn't mean to butcher your name. I'm gonna say watch it. Obviously, I mean, I think that this is one of the few movies that really it doesn't. Us talking about it does it no good.
Right.
That being said, I'm gonna have to disagree with you specifically. I don't think you should watch this movie under the influence the first time.
Yeah.
I think you should watch this movie totally sober.
That's true. I mean,
because you can't. Because if you watch this movie drunk, you won't be able to comprehend.
That's true. How
that you watched this movie or what's going on.
That's true. You might be. It actually might be miserable to watch under the influence.
Right.
Yeah. You kind of have to have your senses and your wits about you to really understand the underlying funny about this movie. Is this the kind of joke that this movie is playing is cosmic and it's like down to the bone.
Yeah, you cannot be impaired in any form or fashion when watching this.
That's a good point. Okay, that's fair. I'll go with you.
Right? It's just you gotta be able to catch. I mean, you're not gonna catch everything the first time.
No way. You've already said things that I have to like watch again for.
Yeah, but that being said, I think if you're drunk or high, you're gonna miss even more.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. As for me, the best performance, I mean, it's got to be, I think if we rule out Tommy Wiseau, which I think we have to.
Yeah. He's a special case.
His goddamn face is on the poster.
Yes. Which for the longest time, I thought that was Christopher Walken.
The movie might have been different if Walken had been, "You're tearing me apart."
Oh my God,
Lisa! Like, oh God, the delivery is not as terrible. For me, like I said, ruling out Tommy Wiseau, the best, the kind of best of the film for me is split between Juliette Danielle as Lisa and Carolyn Minot as Claudette.
Yeah.
Every scene that the two of them are in together is fucking insane.
Wait, remind me. I'm trying. Okay. Yeah.
Lisa and her mom.
Mother. Yeah, that's
her mom is the stereotypical bitch mom who bitches at Lisa about everything, and Lisa has just great nope. Like she tells her I have breast cancer. It's like, you'll be fine. They're figuring out cures for that every day.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Or that Harold. That line cracks me up. That Harold just wants my money.
There are several scenes that I love about the two of them where they literally enter the room, have like that little conversation, and then they leave the room. It's so funny. Right? It's really funny.
And I think one without the other isn't as good. And I definitely love, I love Lisa's interactions with everyone else, but her interactions with her mom are the best part of this movie outside of Tommy Wiseau.
That's fair. That's fair.
They are so just nuts, and you wonder what universe these people live in where talking about cancer, something that's very serious, in such kind of like a laid back, mellow tone. It's like, what?
Yeah, she like throws it away, and it's like, wait a minute, that's a bomb you dropped right there.
Yeah. No, I completely.
And they didn't like finish it off with a joke. They left it, which means she had cancer. She has cancer.
There's nothing funny about it. Oh God. Oh man. Yeah, this is a good movie to end the month on. Yeah. Well, Sean, before we wrap up, is there anything you want to plug?
Not yet. I say there's some good stuff coming soon. But follow me on Twitter, Seanifer, and like me on Facebook, Sean Liang, and then that's where I'll post all the updates.
And this is the last Kulturecast of the year.
Holy snap!
This is the last Kulturecast of 2016. We have been doing this we have done this now from beginning of 2015 to the end of 2016.
Ooh. That's right. Almost a full year.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing this for a full year. We're doing the podcast for a full year.
That's right.
But this is like one calendar, quote unquote, calendar year.
Okay.
So, yeah. Oh. Yeah. I don't know what that counts for. Nothing.
Yeah.
We're just trying to figure out things to be proud of.
It's definitely worthy.
You can follow me on Twitter at Kulturestash. And you want to listen to some more Kulturecast? You sitting in your car looking for things to listen to? Check out the other 100 backlog of Kulturecast, where we talk about all genres of films, from horror to comedies, couple to more bad movies. We really just we try to keep it fresh here. We don't want to just talk about horror movies or about movies that we love so we can fawn over them.
Exactly.
That's not fun. You don't want to hear us just jerk off movies.